Red dot. Yay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show, 330 to Go. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live from West Branch State Park. Yay. Today we get a chance to talk about what it takes to actually run a park and a campground from behind the scenes. Today's episode, just a reminder, folks, is brought to us by Stray Dog Food Cart, Acme Fresh Markets, Cycling Solutions, Nick's Landscaping, Mobile Screen of Ohio, Sheena's Platinum Movements, and Custom Spray Lawn Care. Okay. Special thanks to all our sponsors. We'll be listing their information in the comments for you later on once the show is complete. All right. But today, last week we had a lot of fun. We covered the Rialto, the historic Rialto Theater, and hearing their story. That was good in Kenmore. And we'll be working with them moving forward with Rubber City Reviews as well. All right. But today we are here again at West Branch State Park, and I am here with John. John. Everybody, John, okay? So, John, I just asked you, okay? So you grew up in Girard.
Yes.
All right. So I get, just so you know, the premise of the show, it's 330 to go. It's the area code, right?
Yes.
I always get busted on because people say I focus too much on Akron and we ignore Canton and we never come out this way, all right? So when I knew we were camping, I knew we had an opportunity to finally do something out this way, all right? So now Girard is still part of the 330, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. There's a place in Girard that I go to eat every time I'm there when I get a chance. It's Jib Jab Hot Dogs.
Yes.
All right, so just letting you know
Very
that
familiar with.
yeah, just letting you know that we go there and they're fantastic. They're like Dan's Dogs in Medina. Okay, all right. So tell us your 330 story. All right, you grew up in the area?
Yeah. I actually, coincidentally, as we were talking, I grew up in Girard, Ohio, but I've been coming to Ohio State Parks my entire life. I started out here at West Branch probably about 3 years ago as the park manager, and it's been a great opportunity for me. We get to do a real good job of exposing folks to the great recreational opportunities that we have in Ohio State Parks. I'm really happy that you kind of chose and reached out to me to, talk a little bit about the great things that we do here.
Okay, so tell us about that. Let me tell you about our history first. And folks, let me know if you can hear us. I'm not using any external mics today. Okay, so we're just using the phone because we're out here, and I'm just keeping it really simple. All right, so back when we got married, me and the wife decided we're going to try and camp at every state park in Ohio. That was our goal, okay? And as we did, we had kids, and as we had more kids, we'd go to a different one, we'd check it off. We'd go to Hocking Hills, we'd go to Maumee, the goal was to get to all the corners, right? And Punderson, Pymatuning, all of them, okay? And then after that checklist was kind of complete, it's like, okay, now out of convenience, let's pick a park and camp there regularly, all right? Mohican, Salt Fork, and Hocking Hills are extraordinarily difficult to get into. As far as, January 1st hits and they open up that 6-month window, and then all the sites are booked within, especially 4th of July, they're all gone in that day. Okay, so we settled on, I don't want to say settled, we chose West Branch because everything that it offers, and we're going to go into that now, as a park, and on top of that, the convenience of how close it is to us, because we're in West Akron. So to get right to here, it only takes us 35 minutes, which is amazing that there's a resource like this close to us. Okay, so tell us about the history of the state parks and specifically about West Branch in particular.
So, West Branch is on land that Ohio State Parks leases primarily from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It's a little over 5,000 acres of wooded land. It has a 2,800 acre reservoir that is one of the highlights of the park. The thing that when you say West Branch to most of the folks, and if the people that are from the 330, people know us for our campground.
Right.
It's the main attraction here. 200 plus site campground. It's on a peninsula that juts out of the lake. Water surrounds it on 3 sides. And I don't say this just because I manage this place, but it's a Class A campground.
Okay.
The experience that people get here is great. The recreational opportunities are great. The setting is great, and we have good infrastructure, and that's one of the big draws for our customers.
Okay.
The industry term of glamping. A lot of folks like to come out in campers. You have folks like you and me that still like tents.
Yep.
We have those opportunities for both groups here. But a lot of folks like those campers. We have full service hookup sites. And then we have a lot of electric ones. And then
Yep.
we have a handful of non-electric sites. On top of that, one of the other neat gems we have here is a small bridle camp. So those that have horses or pack animals and want to take advantage of the bridle trails that we have here, we have a small bridle campground with about 24 sites. It's about 2 miles away from here.
Okay.
It's actually north, just on the other side of the
Okay.
of the Jay Lake section of the park.
I obviously I'm not a horse guy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But one thing I noticed, and I got a picture of it, and I'll show it later. There are several maps that are here you've got mountain bike trails here. You've got the bridle trails, the hiking trails that are all part of the park.
Yeah.
So
I will say that our network of recreational opportunities starts with a shout out to some volunteer groups that really help us. Our mountain bike trails, we have a close affiliation with CAMBA, the Cleveland Area Mountain Bike Association. Those guys help build the trails, they help maintain it. They're really our backbone when it kind of comes to that stuff, and they're wonderful people to work with. On the bridle side, we have a group from the Ohio Horsemen's Council, Portage, in Portage County. Wonderful group of people that have really strong passions for horse riding and helping us have a Class A set of trails.
well, how does that work though? Does that all still fall under the state park jurisdiction?
It still falls under our jurisdiction. We work with them, and they actually act as volunteers. They consult with us. They'll give us recommendations on trails, and then we kind of work in conjunction with them on building trails, maintaining them, and stuff like that.
Okay. So, all right, let's focus now just for a little bit on the campground itself, okay?
Okay.
Process-wise, we all know, I know the process, so I'm just going to ask you to explain it to the audience. If you've never been camping before, tell us about what is it like in terms of registration? Is it like a hotel, checking in, all that kind of stuff?
Okay, that's a great question. So camping really starts off with the first thing, and as you kind of mentioned, West Branch is also a pretty popular campground, so I encourage people to get those reservations, especially for some of our more popular times of year, such as 4th of July, our Halloween camp out weekends. Those sell out immediately. You can make reservations up to 6 months in advance, but the first step that I always encourage folks is you make a reservation. The trick with successful camping is, in many cases, planning.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, I plan to have my food, my tent, my sleeping bag, or other people they have their RV. If you want a particular site, it's helpful if you plan that. And folks can make reservations through our website. They can call 866-644-6727. They can make reservations over the phone, and they can also make a same-day reservation by walking into the campground. Problem with that one is you might come into a full campground.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying on a weekend, because it's very common that we sell out every weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
So folks show up. Very often, I'll give you more of an example of people that are kind of coming in on a Friday and leaving on a Sunday. Folks can expect to kind of roll in. Check-in is at 3, but we try to accommodate early check-ins now and then if we have space, such as somebody was not on the site and it's prepared and we're not doing maintenance back there. Try to accommodate folks when they get in a little early, but check-ins at 3. Folks kind of come pulling in. As I mentioned, the campground's on a peninsula, so there's one way in and one way out. And they're going to be greeted by a group of volunteers and staff that work with us. We call those volunteers camp hosts. So we have a group of couples that in exchange for kind of helping us out with some stuff in the campground, they get a free campsite for the period of time that they're here. And they'll be the ones to kind of greet people as they kind of pull in, and we kind of call it the check-in process, similar to what folks have at a hotel. So you kind of pull in, and the camper host store, they would pull by our camp store, and somebody's going to greet you. They're going to give you a map. They're going to give you a little bit of information on the park and give you some rules, because we have a variety of rules so that we know that people are going to have a good experience here. And then they'll give you a parking pass, and then they'll ask you, hey, is there anything else you need? And thank you for visiting. Because we try to add that atmosphere of hospitality. We're real grateful that folks choose us, because we know there's a lot of choices for recreational opportunities, whether it's a hotel, and we are truly honored that folks choose to come here.
Yep. And here's the nice thing about camping. The majority of people that go camping get it.
Yes.
They get it. Okay, so
Yes.
that goes to our next question. and it's about policing and just neighborly respect.
Yeah.
A couple things, and I didn't ask you off the record because I didn't know. Alcohol used to be prohibited, but now the rules have loosened up a little bit. Is something you mentioned?
Ohio State Parks has changed our policies with alcohol. You are permitted to have alcohol on your campsite. You're permitted to consume it, assuming you're 21, and it's legal. What you can't do is you can't bring it around the campground. You can't walk and have a shower beer.
Right.
You can't walk down the road with it. If people are having adjoining campsites, they're most certainly welcome to go back and forth. But you can enjoy it on your campsite is the simplest way to put it.
Basically, it's typical, normal, open container rules.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
walking down the street kind of deal. So that's good. And then from a respect standpoint, okay. So what tell us? Is there quiet hours or anything like that?
Yeah, we have quiet hours that start after 10 o'clock. As far as kind of what I call the neighborly etiquette, obviously. Challenges or things that pop up in the campground are, issues with pets, barking dogs, folks having noise. You only have so much space in between the campsites. So if you're going to do something, realize that what you do impacts those people next to it.
Yep.
But the great thing about West Branch is those problems are very few and far in between.
Yep.
Because I really believe we have a great customer base. And as you eloquently put it, people get it.
Yeah, and I own a DJ business, and I bring equipment, and we play music, and we usually keep it at a respectful level. We don't crank it or anything. And even the way that the park is situated, because it's on the loops and the ovals, the way that it's set up, the noise doesn't travel that far. Okay, so that's all part of it too. In other words, you can bring in other fun, and not cause a ruckus, basically.
Correct.
So now, okay. That being said, the one other thing I want to touch on is, we've never had an issue with any kind of crime at all.
West Branch is a very safe park. ODNR has a group of law enforcement officers who patrol the park, the campground, and the reservoir. We're part of a bigger group that handles everything in state parks. But the men and women that work in that group are some of the most trustworthy, top-notch professionals in my career that I've dealt with. Very good at what they do. Just true professionals.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the supply line. All right. So, you got a big, busy weekend, and especially like this past weekend, it's 100 degrees. And then you got all these people, and there's two things that you need: ice and wood. Okay, and I got pictures of those up of both of them. How does that work? I mean, and again, it's nice. Back to what we said. You're not that far away, so Ravenna's only like 5-10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming where do you guys get like your ice from and all that kind of stuff?
So folks have a couple choices, and it's nice. So. As you pull into the campground, at the entrance of the campground, we have a small camp store that we operate during what I will call normal business hours.
Right.
It's typically like the daylight stuff, and we have that stuff available for those that don't want to leave or can't leave. So we sell ice and we sell firewood. Those are our top two sellers. And then in the store we have a variety of other like kind of comfort and convenience things. If people need shampoo and you forgot it.
Yep. Like for us today with salt and pepper.
Candy bars for the kids. We try to have a little bit of novelty and stuff like that so the kids can kind of ride up and get an ice cream bar. Ice cream's one of the other popular things because, hey, when you have those 90-degree days, it's always nice to get something kind of cool. But the camp store is one of the places. Obviously, we're kind of uniquely situated in as much as we're surrounded by woods, but we're still close to civilization.
Yep.
You have Ravenna that's just a couple miles down the road, and if there's anything you want from,
there's a Walmart nearby too, isn't there?
Down in Kent. Yes.
They're not a sponsor, by the way. All right. So let's take a walk. We're gonna walk over toward the camp shower. But while we do that, I do have a question for you. We'll do some talking along the way here. Let me just grab this. All right. So one thing that someone brought up to me at our site yesterday was storms. Okay. So there was a doozy that came through, and our friends down in Wayne County right now are experiencing some severe flooding. So hopefully everybody is going to be okay with that. We've covered the Canal Fulton flooding recently with 330. So at what point, how do you guys, okay, first of all, how many sites are there here?
It's about 200.
All right, so 200. So let's say there's it's a weekend. You're at capacity, and you got anywhere between average 2 to 4 people per site. So you're talking 500. Could be a 500 to 1,000 people on the campground. Okay. So a big storm's coming. You know it's imminent, and then they pull the tornado cord and they say, "Oh my God, there's a funnel cloud forming." Well, what do you guys do? How is that handled?
Well, I don't think that there's one answer that you can give that's going to answer every emergency situation. But we're heading to one of our shower houses, which is kind of a centralized area that people could go to seek shelter. There's obviously some of the basic stuff that you'd have to do. The unique part with this is, we're surrounded by trees and some ditches and some other things that make some of those, absorb some of the bad weather in many cases, and provides a little bit of shelter from rain and other stuff. But
have you ever had any kind of a scenario that you've had to deal with like that?
No, I've never had to deal with a tornado.
Okay, good.
Which is good. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. But I mean, and my kids were asking me like, well, where do we go? I'm like, well, I would assume the shower house, right?
Yeah, you go to the shelter houses. So the better question is, you have areas of the park where beyond just the campground, ODNR has started investing in some buildings that are small shower houses, or not shower houses, like restrooms that look kind of like an A-frame building. They're called CXTs.
Okay.
Those are actually one of the safest places you can go in a tornado.
Okay.
Prefab concrete design. Some of the material that you'll get on those, it shows trees and flooding and other things.
Okay. All right. So, story-wise, now you've been here at this one for 3 years, right? Is that what you said? All right. So, give us a couple. Yeah, I want one horror story and one like really funny one. What do you got that you could say that you're allowed to say?
Horror story. I can't really, in all honesty, we really don't have too many problems out here. Obviously. What I will call a horror story that I always get frustrated in is when you have some intense rain.
Shut it off real quick. Thank you so much.
When you have some intense rain, you have people that are tent camping like you and I like to do, and then they kind of come up and they tell you that, hey, my tent is totally washed out.
Totally waterlogged, yeah.
And, sometimes there's a beauty in that, though. I mean, I know things like that happened to me when I was kind of growing up. And it sounds crazy, but like those are fond memories.
Yeah.
Even though you're dealing with an adverse situation, when you're in the moment, you're just like, this is horrible.
That happened to us last year. So I think I told you, I went and I bought 2 new rain flies and a big tarp because it happened last year. And then lo and behold, here we go. We set up and we get 24 hours straight of rain.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's funny. All right. So and what about like anything funny happen? That you're allowed to talk about?
I can't think of anything too funny. I think what I would focus more on is the fun part.
Okay.
Not funny. And there's, you kind of look at it. People are coming here to recreate, and they're coming here to relax and have fun.
Yep.
And when you kind of drive around, it doesn't matter what day of the week, you'll kind of come across that. I've often said this, that one of the easiest tricks with managing this place is folks are coming here to relax.
Right.
And I usually don't have to do too much entertaining because they already have plans.
Sure.
There's stuff that they want to do, and it doesn't mean that we don't have plans here and there. We have a naturalist that'll do programs. Sometimes we have some special events, and then you have a reservoir.
And then you do you mentioned the pavilion we were just at.
Yeah.
You guys have ice cream socials.
Yeah, we have a group of volunteers called the Camper Friends, as we mentioned, the camper hosts that are helping out with a variety of things in the campground. Every Saturday night they put on an ice cream social for the campers, so people can kind of come up, get a cold treat. It works out very, very well. Our campers love it. The people that are volunteers like doing it.
Okay. Well, and so now we're in the what's it called, a bathhouse or
It's a shower house one that we're in.
All right, so we're in a shower house, and folks, it is camping, right? It's not a hotel, but at the same time, the one thing that the state parks do is they provide basic amenities that allow you to get what you need to get done, okay? So here we are, we're just gonna take a peek real quick. I think I took some pictures earlier. So they've got the showers. The showers are, they're still single person. Let's see here, there's one, the curtains are all closed, that's okay. So the shower, it's a shower room, right? So you got a little changing room on the outside there, and then the shower inside. And each one of these has their own single doors. And then on top of that, we've got the restrooms here. So if your restrooms are located here as well, and they've got a laundry facility here as well. Okay, so that's all available to use for the campers. And then right out here we've got, where is it? There's a public sink where you can come and do your dishes, because there's nothing more annoying than trying to do your dishes in a drinking fountain, which you're not supposed to do anyway. So
Very true.
Yeah. All right. So at this point now, we are we're now in the sites. We've walked over to where the sites are located, and we've got a special guest, I believe, that's going to be joining us here. So before we bring on our camper host, why don't you tell me about the summer programming that is offered each year?
So we have a naturalist on staff that kind of does a variety of programming throughout the entire summer. Predominantly at West Branch, it's usually on Saturday and Sunday, and it usually takes place within the campground. And it's a variety of stuff. It features everything from free kayaking lessons. We supply the kayak, the paddle, and the life preserver, to hikes through nature, taking you on a guided hike of some of our trails, to just learning things about animals. It's a little bit of everything. It's all based on, kind of science, recreation, stuff like that.
Okay. It was about an hour before I came on with you. We're getting out of the tent, and here comes a deer, just strolling on by. Little fawn, little baby deer, just stopped, looked at us, and then just galloped away. And we're like, and the girls were all losing their mind.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of wildlife around West Branch. If you take some time and you get out on a watercraft or some type of vessel and you go around the lake, you'll see beavers, you'll see deer, you might see an eagle or two. There's a ton of wildlife in the areas around the park.
Okay, and then there's the trash pandas, as Dave's watching right now. He does not like raccoons, so they come out usually around about 11 or so, and typically, like, they weren't out last night because of the rain. But last year when we were here, they would literally come. It was like a schedule. They would show up, and there were only 5 or 6 of them, and they would sit around the ring. You could see them just outside the fire ring. All right,
Yeah.
and they had one that you could tell. My kids named him Joey. They have great triathlon at West Branch. Okay, cool. That's from Michael. All right.
Yep. Steel Valley Try.
Yeah. So the point being, you just got to be smart, right? You don't leave. I think we left a bag of chips out on night number one, and they ripped them all open, and then the chips were all gone. Okay. So
Yeah.
the point is, anywhere that you camp in America, there's going to be wildlife that you're interacting with, and you just need to be intelligent in terms of how you handle your food and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty responsible. It's, packing your stuff up, putting garbage where it belongs, not leaving things out. Those are some of the tips and things you can do to be successful to kind of help keep them at a distance and off of the sites and in nature where they belong and whatnot.
That's right. Okay. All right. At this point now, we're going to do a little tour loop, right? All right. So I'm going to be leaving you. I'm going to be, is your name Gloria?
Gloriati.
Gloria.
Gloriati is one of our camper hosts.
Okay.
Gloria, you've been with us for what, 3 seasons?
This is my 3rd year.
All right. So
And she is one of the hidden gems to our success. So when I heard you guys were coming and people wanted to hear a little bit about West Branch, I'm kind of the invisible person behind the scenes, but folks like Glory are my bread and butter.
okay.
They do a good job of taking care of the place, making me look good, which I need, and just kind of representing us well. So,
Well, come on in.
morning, Glory.
Hey,
Hi.
nice to meet you. I'm Hank.
Very nice to meet you.
All right, so we have history, and I already told John this, but I met her yesterday when we were getting ready to pull in. We went to Speedway to get the kids Frosters, and my littlest was trucking it to get in to get her Froster and almost ran her over, and she just stopped. It's just like, well, she's got places to be.
Yes.
So we had met accidentally, all right? But yeah, thanks so much for doing this.
It's my pleasure. I enjoy it.
Well, and that's one of the things that he's touched on. So there's this program that's set up, right? You get to come and you get to host people, and you get to camp as well too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you said you've been doing it for 3 years.
This is my 3rd season.
Okay. So what I like to do with you is let's just you guys are the happy and the correction buggies. Okay, so you walk around, you greet everybody, you say, and you say, oh, by the way, just so you know, you want to turn that music down, it'd be great.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
just so you know, if you want to move that car just a little bit, that'd be great. But you always do it respectfully.
Yes, I do. I try to make them, you know, and I thank them, you know, for doing it, and I tell them I'm not here to antagonize them or brutalize them or anything. I'm here to make their stay pleasant and to enjoy, but could they please?
Yeah, and the one thing that we talked about was there's a lot of people who go camping for the first time.
Yes.
Especially with the different park itself.
Right.
So there's different amenities, there's different places there, you know, so you become a resource in terms of, hey, where's the shower house? Hey, where's the playground? Hey, where do I go to get to the beach?
Yeah.
One big thing that these guys are, I really refer to these guys, we call them camper hosts, but they're really ambassadors for us because, you know, they're the ones that kind of help folks when they get here. And two things that these guys have done that stand out that help with the experience, as you mentioned, like first-time campers. There's always at least once a season somebody shows up and they don't know how to put up a tent.
Yes.
And these guys and gals will get out on their hands and knees and go through it with somebody.
Really?
I've seen them do stuff like that, but more often than not, and this would be something that I see them doing quite regularly. You have people with a Class A camper, or a Class C, or like a fifth wheel that they're towing behind, and they pull in and they're like, "This is my first time out with this. I'm not good at backing in, or I can't figure out how to get my gray water to go on." And these guys know RVs like the back of their hand, and they have, you know, you'll have folks that might have left a tube or something at home, or they don't have their level plates, or they don't have their tires stopped, and they're like, "Oh, I just bought it. I didn't know I needed this." She's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna get too far." These guys have loaned folks material, showed them, told them where to get it. It's like I said, ambassadors, and helping people have an experience when you kind of pull up, knowing that, you know, I'm not here on my own. I do have a little bit of a safety net, and there's people here that will, you know, kindly help me if I run into a little bit of a problem. Right,
and that makes a ton of sense. And all right, so what I'd like to do now, I'm going to unhook here, and then you want to take a lap real quick?
That's fine.
Let's take a little lap, and then if you could just drop me off up there. John, I'll meet you back up top if you want to just bring the tripod for me.
Yeah, I'll do that. We'll be in front of the camp store.
All right, we'll be right up there in like 5 minutes. Let me flip this around. All right, so I have to take the opportunity to ride in the secret buggy.
Secret buggy?
The secret buggies, man. It's the patrol buggies.
That's right.
All right, so let's take a look.
This is a welcome wagon.
This is Glory's Cadillac right here.
That's right.
Here it is, right here.
I got the air conditioner on. I got the
the air conditioning is on because the flap is down.
So you got your air.
That's great.
Excuse my jacket. It was raining this morning, so I picked this up off the side.
We are well aware of it raining this morning.
Yes. Yeah, you were here.
Oh yes. All right. So so typically, how does your day start? Like you first of all, you're already here, right? Because you're staying at the place.
Right.
So what do you do? What's the morning like?
My routine, the way I start my day is every day. I usually just go over to the shower house. They have maintenance that cleans the shower house every day.
Okay.
But my routine is I go over, you know, because before they get here or overnight, someone might have taken a shower, went in there with muddy feet and all that.
Right.
So my routine is, first thing I do is go and just check my shower house and just make sure it's decent.
Okay.
So that the campers, I wouldn't want to come into a dirty shower. I wouldn't want to come into a dirty toilet.
Okay.
So that's my thing.
So
check it every morning.
But you don't necessarily have to clean it. You just call in maintenance if there's an issue, right?
Well, no, if there's an issue, I don't think that, like I said, that watch our bugs. They're here. We're visiting them. This is their turn. If there's an issue in there, I'm going to clean it up.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I'm not going to leave it for maintenance to come.
Gotcha. Okay.
No. If there's mud on the floor, I'm going to clean it up, or someone had an accident.
Yep.
I'm not, in the shower or something. I'm not leaving that because the next camper, someone shouldn't have to walk in and see that.
Right.
That's just the way I am.
No, and that's fine. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So then, so now let's say, all right. So your morning starts. You check all the stuff, and then.
Then I get my paperwork, and then I start cleaning my sites.
So on a typical site location, so what you do is you go You make sure all the tags are pulled. You make sure that they pull all the trash and all that stuff, right?
Right.
And you know, if is there ever an instance where someone leaves a whole bunch of trash? Do they get in trouble for that or something? How's that work?
No, we just go ahead. If they really trash the site, yes, we do. I go up and tell them up there, and you know, if they like break the tree, you're not supposed to break the trees
Right.
for firewood. And
Don't alter the site, right?
And if they just completely trash the site, yes, we will tell them, and then we call ODNR, and they
contact them or
Yeah.
something. Okay,
I'm
and that makes
sure
sense.
I'm not sure exactly what goes on.
Yeah, what the
with
process
that,
is, but the point-
My job
yeah.
is to let somebody know.
Right,
and
right.
I'll have to come back here.
Okay. Yeah, she's like, yeah, there's a car. I love it.
Why did I come down?
No, you're like, I was done for the day.
Yeah.
So now, all right. So it's a day before a big check-in day. So typically, like, Thursday. When do you
Right.
guys go and you put the cards out for everybody and stuff?
No, we do that in the morning.
Okay.
Because you can have squatters. People sneak in. It has happened. People
Okay.
sneak in at night, and if there's a tag on there, then you would know they're not supposed to be there.
Okay.
So the way my day starts is we have a numerical list of what we do,
Okay.
our assignments for the day.
I see it.
And
Okay.
mine was the group sites A, B, and C today, and then I had 1 through 59.
Okay.
So I go to my first site to clean was 6,
Okay.
but even it says 1 through 59. So I'll go like to to site number 1, and make sure no one was sitting there using the fire ring as an ashtray.
Okay.
Or pop bottles. I walk through each site and just look at the fire ring and look at the site, make sure there's no trash.
Okay.
I check the electric box. You want to walk down here with this site, and I'll show you right quick.
Sure. Is
You
this
want a typical cleaning of the site.
so? This one did somebody just move out of here then?
They went out yesterday.
They went out yesterday. Okay.
I could go up, if you want to go up to 6, I could show you exactly what. But what I do is, say if this was site 6, my first site for today,
Okay.
I would take the old tag off.
Okay.
I had a new tag, I had someone coming in. So I put a new tag on right there.
Gotcha.
And then my thing is just to walk down through here and look, make sure there's no trash or anything like that. Make sure they didn't leave anything.
Okay.
And then I always check the electric box because you don't want a power surge for the next one that comes in.
So that's
So,
why you got to turn them off.
I just make sure all these are down.
Okay, and right there it says there are instructions. It says
Yes.
turn circuit breaker off before inserting a removing plug.
Right.
Okay.
But everybody don't do that when they leave.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I do.
Okay.
I check that. Then I go to the fire ring and we clean up the ashes and stuff. And if there's some wood that can still be used, we'll lay it here for the next one. A lot
Yeah.
of people will leave and they don't want to take the wood with them. They'll leave. We'll stack it up and leave it here for the next person.
Well, do they still have an alert about the whole emerald ash borer thing out or no?
Yes. You know what? We haven't heard much about that.
Not
this
recently.
year.
Not recently.
It was really bad. I think the last couple of years, it was really bad.
Right.
You know, we had to. They really didn't want them bringing in wood from other places.
Right.
But
Because they were worried about the bug being
yeah,
transferred.
Right.
But I'm looking at the site, right, guys? So here we are. First of all, this site, and one thing that I didn't mention with John earlier is, if you're gonna go camping at a place, it's always a good idea to do a drive-through at some point, the year before, and kind of pre-select your site based on what your needs are going to be.
Right,
okay.
right.
So, for example, this site would be perfect for an RV, a bigger motorhome, a big camper. It would be horrible for a tent.
Right.
You're looking here. I mean, the pad right here. It's almost like it's just a concrete pad almost. It's mud. But I mean, the point is, this is not ideal for a tent site. But on the flip side of that, your water is right here.
Right here.
So the lake seeps into right here. Now, remember what John mentioned, that this is a peninsula. It's almost like an island.
Right.
And the water is right off the back of your campsite. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
So let's, I guess let's head on back.
Okay.
But yeah, it was cool. So then when does Gloria get to relax and have fun?
I'm done my thing is I'm here for 24 hours if someone needs me.
Sure.
I usually, when I'll tell a camper, I'll greet them and talk to them. If they're walking around here, I tell them hi, or when they first get here,
Right.
I'll go, I'm on site 97. If I can't help, if you need something, come to see me. If I can't help you, I'll find someone who will.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's my feel to everyone when they come in here.
So you're available 24 hours a day, but for the most part,
we're
most part, your job is done in about what 3, 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
You know, if the people leave like they should, a lot of people, it's supposed to check-ins at 3, check-outs at 1. Everybody don't want to leave. You know, to me, this is a beautiful place. They hate to leave. You know, so
Yeah.
they're enjoying themselves. But you know, it's typically 4 to 5 hours. We get all our sites done, and then we're done. But I try to be here on, you know, for them if someone needs me or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris just mentioned that when they go to pick a site from a place they've never been to, they use Google Earth to do it.
Right.
Chris, I agree with you on that, and we've done that before, but sometimes the trees are in the way, so you can't always see what the pad looks like.
Right.
And if you can't see the pad, all right.
These are the ones I cleaned, and I put the new tags on.
It's
so they're
already ready.
So when the people want to come in, these sites are good for tent or
Yep.
an RV.
Yep. Yep.
These are good.
And we're down at 27, and it's perfect for us.
Yes.
So, all right, let's head on home here. Yep.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
I hope I helped you. I hope I.
We're gonna make you a celebrity.
Oh,
All of Northeast Ohio is gonna know who you are before the
my
day
goodness.
is over. So yeah, we're just so you know, we're live on Facebook right now. Okay,
Oh,
so
my goodness.
the name of the show is 330 to go.
that's one of our other.
One of the other
That's
hosts.
Mike.
Okay. Yeah, 330 to go, and we cover a variety of different topics, and it just made sense since I was going to be out here camping to show a local campground that people can come to that just is a wonderful place to visit. So
Yeah.
so thank you so much for my little tour with you.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
All right.
Anytime. And if you, like I said, I'm down on 97. If you need me for anything,
All right.
come see me.
That sounds good. I'm going to find John now.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to walk around. So now, folks, we're going to show you the inside of the camp store, and we're going to end our tour right here. And that's, I had brought this up. We brought this up before. Here's John. So let's take a look inside the store. Gloria was great, by the way.
Great.
And as we're walking around, she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have to go back there. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back there." All right, so John had mentioned this before. Here's the actual camp store, and I mean, I've used it this morning. I sillily, is that a word? I don't know. I forgot to bring a sweatshirt. And I was banking on being 100 degrees. Now all of a sudden it's 60 or 55 is what it was, right? So I got one of your sweatshirts here. And then on top of that, we forgot salt and pepper. So it goes back to what you were mentioning as far as...
It's stuff for convenience. We have a variety of things up here. Novelty, convenience, and comfort. So little things from like those t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff, and people want to be able to go to a state park and kind of come back with a little souvenir. We have a variety of things for adults and kids, and hoping it kind of complements people's experience here.
Yep. One of the things Chris mentioned earlier, I had talked, me and Gloria were talking that it's always, you and I had mentioned it yet, it's always a good idea if you're going to go camping at a place to just kind of do a drive-through and see the sights.
Yeah, it's always kind of good, especially if you have a camper that has certain dimensions and you need certain things or you're looking for certain stuff. You're welcome to kind of come through. We encourage folks to come through during the non-busy times because sometimes folks want to look at a site and somebody's camping on it. Well, Saturdays and Sundays aren't the best days for those drive-throughs.
Right.
But folks are welcome to kind of come out here. We have a lot of folks that will come in the off season and look at stuff.
Yep.
But there's some sites that have water access. You can actually pull your boat up and moor it on the shoreline.
We were just at the one where it looked like it would be horrible for a tent, but perfect for a big motorhome, and the water's directly behind it, like right there.
Some of those are really popular sites for folks. Those are the ones they want to be close to the water. There's other ones kind of on our Loop 1 that have some really great sunrises and sunsets. They're on kind of the open end of the lake. But there's even ones that are inland for people that don't want to have to experience that stuff where you get, the wind and other stuff that are coming off the lake.
Okay.
Have a little bit more privacy and a little bit more seclusion because you're surrounded by, wooded sections.
Okay. All right. Well, Thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, man,
appreciate
we're
it.
happy.
So
I appreciate it. I appreciate those of you that have taken time to listen to us. And, again, we're open year round while our, peak season summer camping is available from April through October. We have sites available year round.
okay, and I told Gloria, I said by the end of today, most of Northeast Ohio is gonna know who she is. So
good.
I'm gonna pub this. I'm gonna pub this one. All right, folks, this has been great. Now, next time you see me, I'm gonna be live covering Brown's training camp on opening day on Thursday. So once we get checked out of here on Wednesday, I'll be up with Brown's training camp coming to you live up there. Also, next Sunday we're gonna be at a place in downtown Akron that focuses on anxiety and managing productive thought. So more of a mental health issue type show. Until then, folks, I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense of being late. John, join with me and say goodnight, Shirley.
Good night, Shirley. Thank you.
All right.